Welcome to Leigh Dickey TV. Hit subscribe to follow along with the fun. Now let's get on to today's video. How I would have ended Hawaii Five-0. I tell you, next. Alright, so first a little recap. What actually happened in the Season 10 episode Aloha, Season 10 episode 22, which was actually the series finale of Hawaii Five-0, the reboot, which stars Caan and Alex O'Loughlin, along with Grace Park and Daniel Day Kim for the first 7 seasons. And in the end, it was, I think, Beulah, I forget the actor's name, he played Junior Reigns. You had Chi McBride there as well, along with Megan Rath, who played Tawny Ray. And you had Ian Anthony Dale, who was Adam Noshimori. Now, you know, what actually happened, if memory serves me right, Dayu Mei, who was played by Eugenia Yuan, this character was Wo Fat's sort of TV wife, and she wanted to seek revenge for the death of her husband. Now, it's a bit strange to me, because this character didn't come in until Season 10, and the Wo Fat character was killed off, I think, in Season 4. So it's a bit strange to just kind of go, well, alright, we're going to do this. Now, I'm almost convinced that, like, CBS made the last-minute decision to end the show with the end of Season 10, and you probably didn't have enough time to write a proper series finale. Like, you weren't necessarily gearing up for a series finale, because it felt just like a regular episode. It didn't even feel like a season finale to me. But when I originally reviewed the show, which I will link the audio to in the cards and in the description for you all, because I only did review the show in audio form. I wasn't on camera back then. Again, I even said that it felt more like a season finale, or not even a season finale. It was more like a regular episode as opposed to like a season finale or a series finale. Like, it didn't really feel like they had wrapped it all up and put it in a nice little tidy bow and kind of sent the show on its merry way. So if memory serves me right, Eugenia Yuan's Dayu Mei character not only wants to come back to avenge like the death of her TV husband Wo Fat, but she's also wanting to steal, like, I think it's money or military grade weapons or something like that. And obviously at the end of it, you know, they solve everything, and the Dayu Mei character played by Eugenia Yuan gets cuffed and sort of escorted off to custody, if it will, by Lance Gross, who's playing Lincoln Cole. I think he did that for the final 2 episodes of Season 10, and if the name Lance Gross sounds familiar, it's because he had a recurring role on another Peter Lenkov show, another reboot, MacGyver, from I think 2017 to 2019. So the Dayu Mei character gets cuffed, arrested, escorted off to custody, and Steve McGarrett, throughout the episode, Alex O'Loughlin, comes to the realization that, yeah, it's time for me to go chase something else, and sort of leaves his house to Scott Caan's Danny Williams, and, you know, Lance Gross's Lincoln Cole is still there. Katrina Law, at this point, is well entrenched as part of the show, and you had everybody from, like, say, Taylor Wiley, and just all your recurring characters. Chi McBride, even though he was a main cast member, just everybody that was on the cast at the time just sort of was at the McGarrett house, the McGarrett home, sort of wishing Steve well as he leaves the island of Hawaii, right, and goes to chase something else, goes to find peace, I guess, if you will. And, you know, he leaves there. He had a Labrador, a yellow lab, as part of Season 10, and he just kind of leaves the dog with Danny. He's just like, look after Dana, will you? And it's kind of a shame that, like, they actually didn't bring in Taylor Grubbs, who played Grace Williams, Scott Caan's TV daughter, at all this year, or Claire Vanderbloom, who played Rachel Edwards, you know, Danny Williams, Scott Caan's TV ex-wife. I'm surprised they didn't bring them in at all during the final season. But, you know, Alex O'Loughlin and Steve McGarrett, he leaves Hawaii, and everybody there just everything he's ever known behind to go chase something else. And he goes to the airport, gets on a plane, and the last shot, like the last, say, scene of the show is Michelle Borth, who played Catherine Rollins, the Steve McGarrett longtime love interest on the show. She was a main cast member for seasons 3 and 4, and I think a recurring member since season 1. So season 1, 2, and then 5, all the way up through to the show's eventual end. So they reunite on a plane, and they leave Hawaii together, presumably to basically, you know, go off and live their life together and go chase whatever dream and or sense of peace that they're both trying to find. That's what actually happened. How I would have handled the show's eventual end, I tell you right now. Now, what I would do in terms of how to end Hawaii Five-0, or how I would have ended Hawaii Five-0 had I been in charge, I would have brought back the Elizabeth Rom played this, I think, police psychiatrist or psychologist who turned out to be a serial killer and was responsible for all these murders and, you know, sort of soliciting other criminals to do her dirty work, and was sort of like the nemesis of, I don't want to say McGarrett, but she eventually became sort of like a foil for McGarrett. But she started out as sort of like the opposite of the Alicia Brown character, who was played by Claire Forlani. I think it was season 6, right? It might have been season 6 that this storyline took place. Now, Elizabeth Rom's character was eventually killed off, right? And that was it. She was written out of the show. I mean, it was a compelling storyline, right? And it was a compelling story arc, to be honest with you. It lasted multiple episodes. I think it might have been season 6, or it might have ended in season 7. It may have started in season 6, but I think it may have ended in season 7. But I think it was great, to be honest with you. And I think that character, played by Rom, and then you bring back the Alicia Brown character, played by Claire Forlani, that is more suited as a series finale. Like, okay, you can leave the Wolfvat character dead and off screen, leave the Victor Hess character dead and off screen. I think that those characters have run their course, although I think the killing off of the Wolfvat character was a bit abrupt. I think you could have gotten at least a season or 2 out of that character, just a little bit more. Or even if you had, like, say, Ian Anthony Dale turn and go back to his, like, sort of Yakuza ways, that would have been cool too. But I mean, in terms of how I would handle it, I wouldn't have killed off the Elizabeth Rom's, like, serial killer psychiatrist psychologist thing that she had going. I thought it was really good and really compelling, right? I want to bring back Claire Forlani to play Alicia Brown again, and have sort of all these sort of bodies dropping, right? And having the team think, hey, I thought we had sort of taken care of, you know, Elizabeth Rom's character at this point. I thought she was in prison. And then have it come to pass that she had gotten out under, like, an assumed name, or somehow had gotten released from prison and is back to her old ways, right? I think that would have been a more compelling storyline for a series finale. At this point, I would get Grace Park, who played Kono Kalakaua, and Daniel Dae Kim, who played Shin-Ho Kelly, to come back and help out. I mean, Kono Kalakaua, like, character went on to basically help out with this sort of international sort of sex trafficking ring, and left the show that way, because, I mean, at the end of season 7, both Daniel Dae Kim and Grace Park left the show, I think, due to contract disputes. And that's how, you know, Grace Park's character, Kono Kalakaua, left the show. She was going in as part of this interagency sort of thing, task force, to sort of break up a sex trafficking ring. And, you know, Shin-Ho Kelly, played by Daniel Dae Kim, left to start a task force that was based on Hawaii Five-0, to start one in San Francisco, along with Julie Benz's character, and the character I forget, like, the name of the character escapes me at the minute. But for this series finale, I would have them all come back. You have Daniel Day Kim, Grace Park, Julie Benz. I'd even have George Eads come in, because he dropped that hint, or dropped the tip about Elizabeth Rom's serial killer character, and that eventually led to, say, Alicia Brown killing Elizabeth Rom's character and confessing to the murder, but, you know, with extenuating circumstances and what have you, she got probation. But I would have Jack Dalton, you know, George Eads come in for this series finale, just because I think it would be a cool, neat little tie-in, simply because Len Koff is responsible for the Hawaii Five-0 reboot, the Magnum PI reboot, and the MacGyver reboot, and they're all sort of tied together. It's a shame that, like, the Cagney and Lacey reboot that Len Koff was in charge of didn't take off, didn't see the light of day on CBS, because I think it would have been a cool little thing just to tie all of those 4 shows together. That would have been something, but that's just me sort of trailing off onto another topic. But, you know, that's how I would tie this all together, have all those players come back. Daniel Day Kim, Grace Park, George Eads, and, you know, Claire Forlani, Julie Benz. Just have everybody come back for this one final series finale, and, you know, eventually take down Elizabeth Rom's character when you realize that she's, you know, dropped all these bodies, say, and done all this dirty work in San Francisco, where Chin Ho Kelly is based now, right? Where Daniel Day Kim's character is based now, in, like, international waters where Grace Park's Kono Kalakaua is, and have everybody come in just to help out on this one series finale. Just have as many familiar faces as you can appear on this series finale. I mean, I'd even have, say, Macy Aka as Max Bergman come back and get involved. I know that, like, you had Jorge Garcia leave towards the beginning, like at the beginning of season 10, but I'd have him stay on until the end just to see this show right off into the sunset. But I think, like, to have all these players come back and then have them eventually take down Elizabeth Rom's character, that would be a series finale. Like, I would have, just to end it off, like, I would have Claire Forlani's Alicia Brown and Steve McGarrett sort of facing off in a triangle. Like, just have them, like, forming a triangle with guns pointed at each other. Honestly, I would, right? Whereas, say, Claire Forlani's Alicia Brown has another, like, has a gun pointed at Elizabeth Rom's character and is just threatening to shoot her. And Steve McGarrett's trying to sort of, like, no, not like this. It's okay, let's take her into custody. And just having Elizabeth Rom's character kind of, like, egg Claire Forlani on, like, no, come on, you want to shoot me, you know you do, you want to kill me. And then just have, like, Steve McGarrett, you know, Alex O'Loughlin, just try to calm her down. Just lower your weapon, it's okay. We will take her into custody, and I guarantee you everything will stick this time. And she's like, no, it's not going to work. And then just have the, like, I would have Alex O'Loughlin finally get through to Claire Forlani's Alicia Brown, have her lower the gun, and then have Elizabeth Rom fire a round but miss at Claire Forlani, and then just have Steve take that final and sort of fatal shot, and I'd hit, like, Elizabeth Rom's character square in the forehead, and just have Claire Forlani's Alicia Brown character breathe a sigh of relief and just be like, it's over. Thank you. Like, don't thank me. It's finally over. Let's go, you know, wrap this up and just get with the rest of the team and, you know, sort of wrap up the series and the episode that way. Of course, like, you know, at this point, like, I would have, as cool as it is to see, like, Michelle Borth come back, as cool as it was to see Michelle Borth come back and return at the end of the season 10 finale, the one that actually aired. I would have had something start between, say, Claire Forlani's Alicia Brown and Alex O'Loughlin, just because I think they were a great pairing. I'm not saying that Michelle Borth as Catherine Rollins wasn't a great on-screen partner for Alex O'Loughlin and Steve McGarrett. They were great together, but I think, you know, I'd have Michelle Borth come back. And of course, you'd have, say, Scott Caan involved and everybody else involved as much as possible. But I think at this point, like, have Michelle Borth still with, like, the CIA or, you know, doing her thing. But I would have something where, say, Claire Forlani and Alex O'Loughlin on screen are involved with each other, or at least after this, I'd have them get involved, you know, and just have them sort of wrapped up the series, and just to wrap up that final scene, like, have the entire team together. Say, like, you know, Ian Anthony Dale as Adam Noshimori, Grace Park as Kona Kalakaua, Julie Benz, Claire Forlani, just everybody involved, Scott Caan, Taylor Wiley, just as many people as you can. You know, Jerry, Jorge Garcia, like, come on. I mean, you can't, just to have them all around. Megan Rath, and I really can't remember this actor's last name, but he played Junior Ains. It's Beulah, and the last name escapes me. But to have the entire team sort of in, say, McGarrett's backyard, or by Kamakona's shrimp truck. Now, Kamakona is played by Taylor Wiley. One last time. It's good to see you guys. And then I would have, like, you know, Daniel Day Kim, who's Shin-Ho Kelly, sort of drop hints to Steve, like, hey, you want to come to San Francisco? Because that's, you know, we're doing pretty well out there. We could use, say, some consulting. Or, you know, we could use your help on some things. And he's like, nah, man, I'm ready to retire. But, like, I'd leave room for, say, like, why not leave room for almost like a Daniel Day Kim sort of Hawaii Five-0 San Francisco spinoff? Like, why not? That would be cool. To me, like, that would have been cool too, right? And that's pretty much what I would do. Have the team all together one final time, have them reminisce on the time they spent together, and then just go through a montage of things from the series, and then just kind of get to credits, and then run the theme one final time, and then fade to black. There it is, there you go. How I would have ended Hawaii Five-0 had I been in charge when the series finale was going to take place. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. You can listen to this in audio form as an episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. You can also listen to my other show and subscribe to both my podcasts, Yo Nostalgia. Links down in the description. Follow along on social media at Leigh Dickey on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you want to follow me on TikTok, at Leigh Dickey TV. But there you go, how I would have ended Hawaii Five-0 had I been in charge when the series finale was slated to take place. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Take care, and we will talk to you later. All right, Leigh Dickey signing off. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to Leigh Dickey TV. New episodes are available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe to follow along with the fun.